You are leaking. Right now, at this exact moment, you are bleeding the single most valuable resource you possess. It's not your money. It's not your time. It's your energy. Every single day, you wake up with a full battery, but by 2 p.m., you feel entirely hollowed out, emotionally exhausted, and mentally paralyzed. You aren't lazy. You don't need more coffee. And you don't need another productivity hack. What you need to understand is that your focus, your drive, and your peace of mind are being systematically stolen by hidden forces you aren't even paying attention to. The ancient masters of self-mastery discovered a terrifying truth. Most people don't die of old age. They slowly evaporate through their daily distractions. There are 7 hidden valves draining your power, and if you don't learn how to close them today, you will spend the rest of your life running on empty, watching your true potential slip through your fingers. But if you learn to seal these leaks, you become absolutely untouchable. Let's look at your typical day. You wake up, and before your feet even touch the cold floor, you reach for your phone. In less than 60 seconds, your brain is flooded with the opinions of strangers, catastrophic news headlines, and messages that demand your immediate attention. Before you've even fully conscious, your mental energy is already being divided into 100 different directions. By midday, you find yourself trapped in an invisible prison. You are constantly reactive. A single passive-aggressive email from your boss ruins your entire afternoon. An argument with a partner loops in your head for 6 hours straight. You are intensely anxious about a future event you cannot control, while simultaneously feeling a deep sense of self-doubt about mistakes you made 3 years ago. This is the hidden crisis of the modern world. We are living in an attention economy, designed to keep your mind in a state of perpetual low-grade panic. You feel lonely, even when surrounded by people. You feel undisciplined, even when you desperately want to succeed. And you are constantly tired, because your mind is fighting wars that don't even exist. You think your exhaustion is physical, but it's completely psychological. You are giving your limited life force away to things that do not love you back, things that don't pay you, and things that don't matter. You are playing a game where you are the prize, and you're losing. But what if there was a way to construct an invisible fortress around your mind? A way to walk through the most chaotic environments, handle the most toxic people, and face the deepest uncertainties without losing a single drop of your inner power? To understand how to do this, we have to look at a man who sat at the absolute peak of human civilization, yet faced the exact same internal agony you are feeling right now. Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that you are responsible for the lives of an entire empire. Not only that, but a deadly, catastrophic plague is sweeping through your cities, killing thousands of people a day. Your economy is collapsing. Your closest, most trusted friend has just betrayed you and started a civil war to take your position. And to top it off, you are stuck in a freezing, muddy military outpost on the edge of the civilized world, surrounded by enemy tribes who want to take your life. This wasn't a nightmare. This was the daily reality for a man named Marcus Aurelius. As the Emperor of Rome, he possessed total, absolute power. He could have executed anyone who annoyed him. He could have drowned his anxiety in endless luxury, wine, and indulgence. Yet every single night, when the camp grew quiet and the fires burned low, Marcus didn't turn to vices. He sat down by a flickering candle, took out a journal, and wrote to himself. He didn't write for fame or for history books. In fact, he explicitly commanded that these writings be destroyed after his death. He wrote purely to save his own sanity. He wrote to manage his energy. In those private journals, which we now know as meditations, Marcus Aurelius developed a highly sophisticated psychological armor. He realized that while he couldn't control the plague, the wars, or the treachery around him, he had total dominion over how much of his personal energy he surrendered to them. He lived by a strict, unyielding code that transformed him from a stressed, overwhelmed ruler into one of the most stable, powerful, and deeply at peace human beings to ever walk the earth. He discovered 7 profound secrets, secrets that took him from the brink of mental collapse to absolute self-mastery. And these exact same secrets are ready to be applied to your chaotic modern life right now. Secret 1. The dichotomy of control. Marcus Aurelius stood before his war maps and realized something that will instantly free you from 90% of your anxiety if you truly internalize it. He divided the entire universe into 2 distinct columns, things that are up to us and things that are not up to us. Think about where your energy went yesterday. You worried about whether people liked you. You worried about the weather, the economy, the traffic, or how someone was going to respond to your text. The Stoics called these externals, and every single time you invest your emotional energy into an external, you are making a devastating bet. You are handing your happiness over to a world that doesn't care about you. When you worry about things outside your control, it's like trying to steer a ship by yelling at the wind. It changes absolutely nothing, and it leaves you completely exhausted. The modern application. From this moment on, whenever a situation stresses you out, stop and ask yourself this single, brutal question. Is this within my control, or is it not? If your boss is in a terrible mood, is that within your control? No. Their mood belongs to them. Your response to it belongs to you. If the algorithm changes or your flight gets delayed, is that within your control? No. Stop trying to force the world to behave the way you want it to. Conserve your energy. Fold your arms. Step back and say, "This is outside my control. Therefore, it is none of my business." The moment you stop trying to fix things you cannot change, a massive wave of energy floods back into your life. Secret 2. Ruthless elimination of the unessential. Marcus Aurelius wrote a line in his journal that sounds incredibly simple, yet contains terrifying power. He said, "If you seek tranquility, do less." But then he clarified. He didn't mean become lazy. He meant, do only what is essential. Look at your current daily schedule. You are drowning in a sea of non-essentials. You say yes to social events you secretly dread attending because you're afraid of FOMO or awkwardness. You take on extra projects you don't have space for because you want validation. You spend hours debating politics or pop culture with people on the internet who will never change their minds. Every single time you say yes to something minor, you are subconsciously saying no to your health, your long-term ambitions, your peace, and your family. You are scattering your energy like grains of sand in the wind, and then wondering why you don't have the strength to build an empire. The modern application. You need to become an absolute tyrant with your time. Implement the hell yes or no rule. If an invitation, a task, or a relationship doesn't deeply align with your personal growth, your success, or your inner peace, your answer must be a polite, unyielding no. When you eliminate the noise, you realize that true discipline isn't about doing more things. It's about doing the right things with absolute, undivided intensity. You will suddenly find yourself with an abundance of mental clarity you haven't felt since childhood. Secret 3. Protect the citadel of your mind. The Stoics viewed the human mind not as a soft, vulnerable sponge, but as an inner citadel, a massive stone fortress that nothing can enter unless the gatekeeper allows it. Think about how you guard your physical home. You lock your front door at night. You wouldn't let a random stranger walk into your living room, dump a bag of garbage on your rug, and walk out. Yet, you let toxic people, mindless social media feeds, and petty office gossip walk straight into your brain every single hour, dumping mental garbage everywhere. You are treating your mind like a public park instead of a sacred fortress. Marcus Aurelius noted that your soul becomes dyed by the color of your thoughts. If you constantly feed your mind chaos, uncertainty, and comparison, your energy will naturally reflect that exact same toxicity. The modern application. You must build a digital and social perimeter. Turn off non-essential notifications permanently. If a person in your life consistently drains your energy, leaves you feeling insecure, or drags you into their endless self-made drama, you must cut them out or drastically reduce their access to you. You don't owe anyone your sanity. Practice selective ignorance. You do not need to know every news event. You do not need to hear every rumor, and you do not need to return every phone call the second it rings. Keep the gates of your citadel completely locked to negativity. Secret 4. The practice of voluntary discomfort. We live in an age of unprecedented comfort. If you are cold, you turn up the heat. If you are hungry, you tap a screen, and food appears at your door. If you are bored, you have an endless supply of high dopamine entertainment in your pocket. But here is the psychological trap. Comfort is an energy vampire. The more comfortable your life becomes, the more terrified you become of discomfort. You start leaking massive amounts of mental energy, worrying about what-if scenarios. What if I lose my job? What if the internet goes down? What if I have to face a difficult situation? Your mind becomes fragile, constantly on edge, overprotecting your comfort zone. The Stoic philosopher Seneca used to advise his wealthy friends to set aside a certain number of days every month to eat the cheapest food, wear rough clothes, and step completely away from luxury, asking themselves, is this the condition that I feared? The modern application. To master your energy, you must systematically inject controlled discomfort into your life. Take a cold shower first thing in the morning. Fast for 16 hours. Leave your phone at home and go for a long walk in total silence. Push your body to its absolute limits in the gym when you feel like quitting. When you realize that you can survive discomfort, your deep-seated anxieties about the future completely vanish. You stop wasting mental energy protecting your ego and your comfort, and you gain a ferocious, grounded confidence that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. Secret 5. Memento Mori. Remember you must die. Most people think talking about death is depressing. The Stoics found it to be the ultimate, life-giving energy hack. Think about why you are currently stressed or exhausted. You are likely hyper-focusing on something incredibly petty. Someone insulted you, you're worried about an upcoming presentation, or you're feeling immense self-doubt about your appearance. You are expanding your energy as if you are going to live for 10,000 years, treating minor speed bumps like life or death emergencies. Marcus Aurelius would look at his vast empire, look at the stars, and remind himself that every single emperor before him was now nothing but dust and bones. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." The modern application. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, paralyzed by anxiety, or stuck in a loop of self-criticism, invoke Memento Mori. Zoom out completely. Remind yourself that this planet is spinning in an infinite void, and your life is a beautiful, brief flash of light. Does that petty argument matter in the context of eternity? Does that awkward moment you're stressing over actually matter? Absolutely not. Death is not your enemy. It is your ultimate coach. It instantly strips away the unessential, crushes your superficial insecurities, and leaves you with an explosive focus on the present moment. It tells you, stop wasting your precious light on things that don't matter. Secret 6. Amor Fati. Love your fate. This is perhaps the highest, most difficult level of Stoic energy mastery. It is the concept of Amor Fati, not just tolerating the bad things that happen to you, but actively choosing to love them. When something goes wrong in your life, your car breaks down, your project gets rejected, or a relationship ends, your natural human reaction is to complain, feel victimized, and cry out, "Why is this happening to me?" This resistance is an incredible drain on your power. You waste days fighting reality, wishing the past was different. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who spent his youth as a literal slave in brutal conditions, realized that events themselves are completely neutral. They are neither good nor bad. It is only the judgment you place on the event that causes you suffering. The modern application. You must shift your mindset from, "Why is this happening to me?" to, "How is this happening for me?" Did you get passed over for the promotion? Excellent. It is a test of your resilience and an opportunity to build a skills portfolio so massive you cannot be ignored. Did someone betray your trust? Great. It is a live-action masterclass in emotional boundaries and self-reliance. When you treat every single obstacle as fuel for your personal growth, you become completely unstrikable. You don't lose energy when life hits you. You absorb the impact, convert it into power, and move forward with greater momentum. Secret 7. Turning insight into instant action. The final leak of human energy is mental masturbation. Spending all your time reading self-help books, listening to philosophy podcasts, and planning your ideal future life without ever actually executing. We use learning as a sophisticated form of procrastination. We tell ourselves we are working, but we are actually just gathering information to soothe our anxiety about not taking action. Marcus Aurelius cut through this hypocrisy with a brutal, single line that should be engraved on your mind permanently. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Philosophy is completely useless if it stays inside your head. True energy mastery is found in the physical world, through dirty hands, sweat, and daily execution. The modern application. Stop overthinking. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, or the perfect amount of energy to start working on your dreams. Action actually generates energy. Waiting drains it. The moment you finish watching this script, do not click on another video. Do not open another app. Pick the single most difficult, important task you've been avoiding for the last week. Set a timer for 25 minutes and attack it with absolute, ruthless focus. Show yourself what your discipline actually looks like in real time. If you implement these 7 secrets, something extraordinary happens to your life. You stop being a leaf blown around by the chaotic winds of the modern world. You become the wind itself. Imagine walking into your workplace or your home next week. The notifications are still flashing, people are still complaining, and the future is still completely uncertain. But you are completely different. You don't feel that heavy, hollow weight in your chest anymore. Your eyes are sharp and focused because you've locked the gates of your mind against external noise. Your posture is naturally confident because you've stepped out of your comfort zone and realized you are unbreakable. You have a deep, radiant inner peace because you've accepted your fate and stopped fighting things outside your control. You no longer look for motivation because your energy is carefully conserved, packed tightly inside your inner fortress, ready to be directed at your highest ambitions. You become the person that others look to when the storm hits, the anchor in the middle of the sea. This is the path of self-mastery. It is not an easy journey, and it is not a path for the weak. It requires a daily, relentless commitment to protecting your power and mastering your mind. You now possess the exact same blueprint that kept the world's most powerful emperor sane during a plague and a civil war. The choice of what to do next is entirely up to you. You can close this screen, go back to your old patterns, and let the modern world continue to drain your potential until you're running on empty. Or, you can draw a line in the sand today. You can choose to close the leaks, protect your citadel, and step into the highest, most powerful version of who you were truly born to be. If you felt a shift inside you while listening to this, if you are ready to stop leaking your life force and start mastering your personal growth, hit the subscribe button right now. Join this community of thinkers and creators who are actively building their inner fortresses every single day. Drop a comment below, telling me which of the 7 secrets you need to work on the most this week. As Marcus Aurelius reminded us, your life is short and the clock is ticking. Stop wasting your light. Go out there, protect your energy, and conquer your day.